There's a quote that says, never compare your beginning to someone else's middle. And while I don't think comparing our beginning to someone else's middle has given us anything but doubt in ourselves, I've gotten great value from studying other people's life and biographies to think about how I can achieve the same results. If you have done something wrong, it is sometimes quite difficult to admit to others and yourself that you are ashamed. That's where excuses come into the party. You make excuses or lie instead of apologizing because you're scared to admit your weaknesses and your ego goes out of the roost. And then what happens is cognitive dissonance. But what is cognitive dissonance and why should we be so concerned about it? Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort experienced by someone who holds two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values at the same time. Let me just repeat this so that you get it correctly. Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort experienced by someone who holds two or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values at the same time. Now, we are talking. When you do something wrong and you don't accept it, you virtually start a cycle or a chain of lies and excuses. And my dear people, this vicious cycle never ends. It forms a pattern and then it becomes a habit and then it starts ruining your image, personality, confidence, and finally making it your way of living. You become a book where the cover reads, "Excuses is my way of life." My dear friend, this book is the best selling book of our century. You want to be the author of this book? Do you really? Or you want to write a book where the cover says, "Act now to be successful"? Decision is yours. Make it quick. Make it better. Be wise. I always used to point my fingers towards things in my life not being right. It is not the right time. I don't have enough money. I'm too young. I don't know how. I'm being too tough on myself. I'm too shy. And so on. The point is, in the moment, they all seem legitimate. But as you observe them carefully, these things, don't they look really lame? There's a famous quote by Benjamin Franklin. He said, "He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else." There are many reasons why people make excuses. In fact, Everyone has a variety of making excuses. It's actually tailoring it for each of them, by each of them. However, let's just talk about the most common reasons. And these are: number 1, fear of failure. Number 2, fear of embarrassment. Number 3, fear of success. Fear of success? Most people won't even believe this. Fear of success. Fear of change. 4th. 5th, fear of uncertainty. 6th, fear of responsibility. 7th, fear of making mistakes. 8th, perceived lack of confidence or resources. So now let's just talk on the top 3, that is the fear of failure, the fear of embarrassment, and the fear of success. So, fear of failure. Setting a meaningful goal can be a lot scary, especially for people with low confidence. Unfortunately, our mind is more likely to respond to our fear by providing us with thousands of excuses that encourage us to give up before we even start. And that suffocates our efforts once we do begin. Most common excuses we give ourselves when we fear failure. You feel this goal will be very difficult to reach or it's nearly impossible, and your mind tells you, I'm not capable enough, so there's no point in even trying. If you have a belief that you are incapable, there is indeed no point in trying. But if you acknowledge or see the difficulty, you can begin by having a strategy, a plan, and figure out what you will need to do to overcome the hurdles, which will make you more equipped and increase the possibilities of succeeding once you do try. Second, fear of embarrassment. Have you ever asked a woman if she is pregnant and she replied with a stern no? If so, then did you instantly feel the need for the earth to open up and swallow you in a gaping hole of shame? I have. So, you get what embarrassment is, right? The one we are talking about is a little bit different. So, it is the fear of being scrutinized, judged, or embarrassed in public. And even though you probably realize that your fear of being judged are at least somewhat irrational and overblown, you still can't help feeling anxious. Some people experience anxiety in specific social situations, such as speaking to strangers, mingling at parties, or performing in front of an audience. Common social anxiety triggers include public speaking, meeting new people, making small talk, being the center of attention, performing on a stage, being watched while doing something, being teased or criticized, going on a date, being called on in class, taking exams, eating or drinking in public, attending parties or other social gatherings. Now, the third, the fear of success. As I've already told you, that most people don't even believe this, that there is something called as fear of success. Many talk about not being ready for the financial and social pressures, the lack of privacy, the lifestyle changes from when no one knew them compared with now being household names. Would I become a different person as a result of being successful man or woman? Would I like the person I become? Would there be more pressure? Am I really good enough to sustain the success? Procrastinating. I remember a story my mother used to tell. I had an aunt where my mother used to go often. One day, when she went there, my aunt was sitting near her vegetable garden. My mother saw a healthy country chicken grazing and was telling my aunt that she did not have country chicken in a while. My aunt started the cooking process instantly. She explained how she is going to clean it, making the right size pieces, and how she will mix the spices, and finally, how delicious it's gonna taste and smell. All this imagining was for the chicken grazing on her garden. My mother said when she completed the cooking process, the chicken saw my mother as if the chicken had heard them and flew off like a bullet. So, you have to be present to live your dreams and not live in dreams and not be present. Now then, what to do about it? First things first, acceptance. Yes, unless you see that you are doing something wrong, you can't even start the curing process. It's that simple. It's like striking the iron when it is hot. But for that to happen, the rod needs to be hot. When we have no acceptance, the rod is still ice cold. And if we hit the rod now, it will start chipping and breaking. Acceptance brings the stress in the rod down. And now it's red hot, ready to be shared for success. Remember this. Understanding is the first step to acceptance, and only with acceptance can there be recovery. Before you're making your next excuse, ask this: what can I do right now to improve? Let's be honest with ourselves about things we can do better and free yourself of the blame that is sure to hold you back. So, what I suggest people is, in the morning, start by making a small doable list of tasks, like making your bed in the morning, making breakfast for yourself or your family, getting the groceries for home. People generally ask me, how is this gonna help them? They don't understand this, that it's not how big or small the achievement is, but when you complete a task and you check that off from the list, it sends a signal to the brain and it releases dopamine, the happy chemical, which then propels you to do more. This is how you will start developing your lost confidence back. Take responsibility for your own actions, and you can live an incredible life of integrity and of satisfaction. Take out time to create a positive momentum in your life, and you will always keep moving forward.